David, what's happening where you are right now, and how are the local lawmakers reacting to the troops we see right behind you?
Yeah, Alex, so I am right outside the federal building in downtown LA, which is just across the street from the Metropolitan Detention Center. This is where this group of about, at this point, the number of troops has grown since I last spoke to you. About 24 National Guard troops with their vehicles have been stationed here all morning. There actually are traces of tear gas in the air. I'm not entirely sure where it's coming from. I don't know if it's residue from the last couple of days, but a number of people here have been kind of coughing and getting affected by it. In the last hour also, Alex, the tension has definitely gone up pretty significantly. There are more protesters here. A number of them are sort of walking right up to the National Guard troops. The troops have, on a couple of occasions now, tried to get people to move back out onto the street. I'm told that there's a march moving here from Boyle Heights, from Mariachi Plaza specifically, which is a sort of iconic, it's an icon of the immigrant community here in Los Angeles. As to your question about lawmakers, Alex, actually just a few minutes before we went to air, spoke with Congresswoman Maxine Waters, who represents a district in South LA where a lot of the activity has been over the last couple of days. She told me that she, just in the last hour, tried to gain access to the Metropolitan Detention Center, but was turned away by people who work there who did not identify themselves to her. So this is the second time in 2 days, Alex, that sitting members of U.S. Congress have been turned away from this detention center, which they have a legal right to visit for oversight purposes. Now, I asked her about her feeling about everything that's happening, the fact that the troops are here. Take a listen to a little bit of what she told me.
I think now I'm going to go out into the community to see if ICE is doing what it did last night. Okay. They issued tear gas out in these communities. I'm worried about what they possibly can do or what will happen. So I'm going to be around. I may try to come back. I'm going to try and call more elected officials to come out here because of these guards with these guns. I'm really frightened about the guns. I think one of these young kids might get excited, might get frightened, and might use those guns. Yeah. Why would they bring guns here?
Alex, I did get a statement back from the Department of Homeland Security from Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin about why congressmen were turned away from this detention center yesterday. She told me that at the time the lawmakers tried to enter the federal building, more than 1,000 rioters had surrounded the building. And due to the rioting, the lawmakers were turned away in the interest of their safety and the safety of our law enforcement. Of course, that was yesterday when Representative Waters tried to enter the detention facility today. There was no, I mean, you know, this was the protest that you could see. It was actually not really particularly close to the detention center. I'll have to reach back out to them for comment about that turning away of an additional member of Congress in this instance. And as I mentioned to you last time, this also is happening as attorneys are also telling me that they've been turned away from this and other ICE detention centers where the people who have been arrested are being held. Alex, we're going to be here all day. Just based on how much the tensions have risen in the last hour since I spoke to you, I think that likely they are going to continue to rise during the course of the day as more and more people gather here in downtown LA to protest the presence not only of ICE and other federal agencies conducting immigration enforcement, but now also in a historical event that hasn't happened in many decades, the presence also of National Guard troops who are here without the authorization of the governor of California, Alex.
Well, listen, David, if they're coming in from Boyle Heights there, which is east of where you are by just about 3 miles if you were going to go on the 101 freeway, they will be there soon. It is not far. Certainly they're not going to be going along the freeway, but they will be making their way soon to you. Keep a very close watch. Let us know if we need to come back to you. Thank you so much, David. Let's go now to NBC's Gabe Gutierrez with new reaction from the White House today. So, Gabe, why did the Trump administration circumvent the California governor to send in the National Guard?
Well, certainly, Alex, this is something that President Trump has railed against for quite some time, this idea that Democrat-led cities, in the administration's view, don't pay enough attention to law and order. And the images you're seeing right now of National Guard troops on the ground in a major American city is what the White House wants to see. And they want that message to get across that they are taking this immigration crackdown seriously. Now, we also heard from administration officials throughout the day, including Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, who was interviewed this morning. Here was her justification for why the president deployed those troops. Listen.
at the direction of the president in order to keep peace and allow people to be able to protest, but also to keep law and order. That is incredibly important to the president. Governor Newsom has proven that he makes bad decisions. The president knows that he makes bad decisions, and that's why the president chose the safety of this community over waiting for Governor Newsom to get some sanity. And that's one of the reasons why these National Guard soldiers are being federalized, so they can use their special skill set to keep peace.
And Alex, I'm also just learning from my colleague Kelly O'Donnell, who says that a White House official told her that the president actually spoke to Gavin Newsom on Friday and said that he needed to get the police in gear because things were getting under control. So that is some news that the president spoke directly to Gavin Newsom again on Friday at these protests were getting underway. But this also should come as no surprise because the president has railed against not just Gavin Newsom, but also officials in Democrat-led cities really since the start of this administration, even going back to his first term. And he has also tried to make it a point that, and his borders are Tom Homan has as well, that if these local officials stand in the way of immigration enforcement, that they will then be prosecuted. Now, Tom Homan, in his interview with my colleague Jacob Sovroff, did make it clear that Governor Newsom and the Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass had not crossed that line just yet, but he did make it clear that if they did, that they would be prosecuted. But you see those live images right there of National Guard troops on the ground in Los Angeles, waiting to see if there is any more escalation of those protests throughout this afternoon. We'll certainly be watching, and the administration is watching too. Again, though, the president had already spoken with Governor Gavin Newsom, and he deployed those troops, even despite Newsom's opposition, Alex.
Opposition because Newsom said that we've got it under control and we can handle it. But there you have it. Okay, thank you for that, Gabe.